findings and recommendations. Just to be clear, the ultimate decision will be the 911 boards to make. However, this effort brings forward professional engineering and more information the 911 board didn't previously have, which caused public safety and first responder safety concerns and taxation related concerns. From what I've seen so far, the engineering will show that it is possible to meet all the first responders' needs at a much lower cost. Last is some information on the condition of the current public safety radio system that has and continues to cause safety concerns. For context, I first want to play a short recording of a testimony that 911 board member Rob Anderson provided. Rob is also a first responder in our community. This recording is from the 911 board meeting that took place last March, so over 4 to 5 months ago. And I'm not going to play the whole thing here, but it's very telling.
Was it maybe 5 years ago? And Tyler may even know this or not.
Sorry, this started.
I have to tell you here that I currently have no faith in our current radio system. You know, it's like last week I'm standing at Highway 30 in Havelock in the middle of the intersection because there's a car wreck. And I cannot talk to dispatch with a portable radio. When in theory, there's a remote receiver site at the Scappoose Police Station, maybe a couple miles away, line of sight. I understand we have issues with BALD, and it comes on and offline due to the microwave links and trees. You know, I think that really needs to be assessed. This week, I'm working on a vehicle. So a mobile unit in a car, try to do a radio test through CCOM. It comes back, what I receive is mostly static. Right now, the portable radios from morning to evening, it's static. So I don't know if we're talking atmospheric with changes with the sun and the layers and skip, but then you listen to it at night and it is crystal clear. So again, with other sites not functioning, I don't know if we're having timing and other overlap issues that have degraded. If you go into the Scappoose station itself, it has the taller antenna. It's able to hear from another site. It's crystal clear. You can be in the building, everything just fine. Do a radio test in the station. Ask CCOM how it sounds. CCOM comes back saying loud and clear. Everyone else in the vicinity in our area that's listening to it says, I don't know why they said it's loud and clear. It was awful. It was all staticky, or they couldn't hear what was being said. So we know we're getting into the system. The coverage back into the Scappoose area is just not working. And I've come to the realization that when I first started with Scappoose in '93, there was better radio coverage being simplex, talk in and talk out, than there currently is today.
About 2 weeks ago, I was told the executive director of 911 had the Bald Hill radio site turned off. Bald Hill is the name of the radio site that serves Scappoose and surrounding areas. It's the primary radio site serving South Columbia County. Turning the radio site off endangered and continues to endanger the public safety and the safety of our first responders. Significant parts of the city, most of Dutch Canyon Road and Scappoose County Highway are dead zones as a result of the site being turned off. The site was reportedly turned off because there is a tree on private property blocking the microwave path. Basically connects the site to dispatch, and the site, because it's microwave, it has to be clear. There can't be anything in the way. I have firsthand knowledge that the tree issue has been known for over 8 years. There are multiple alternative connection paths possible from this radio site. I previously mentioned the coverage maps provided by 911's consultant show that there is no radio system coverage in or around several schools within the county. The consultant also reported that several of the first responders reviewed those maps and confirmed the coverage shown. I talked to Fire Chief Pritchard today, who said that Scappoose fire personnel recently walked the Scappoose schools and conducted radio testing. He said during their test, dispatch was able to hear them, but at times they had trouble hearing the dispatcher. Chief Legal and I are discussing the police department conducting testing in the schools on a police radio channel. Excuse me. As we heard from 911 board member Rob Anderson in the recording I played earlier, the coverage changes throughout different times of the day, which we need to be mindful of. I hear these changes almost daily as well when I listen to the radio. We need to be sure that our first responders have consistent and reliable coverage to safely do their jobs and receive the information they need to protect the public during emergencies. In several of my recent testimonials to the 911 board, I've stated that I have compatible radios to donate, and I will find the remaining funding needed to have receivers for the radio system installed at the high school. This installation would allow consistent, reliable transmissions from first responders inside and outside the schools in Scappoose, and if the Bald Hill radio site is turned back on, the first responders' ability to reliably hear dispatch and other responders while they are inside the building would also be addressed. I want to mention that Tim Porter, Scappoose School District Superintendent, has been great to work with. Excuse me. Porter told me he is currently checking with one of the tower owners at the high school to determine if we can install the needed antenna on one of the towers. Chief Lugal and I are meeting with Superintendent Porter on Thursday as well. Moving forward, we will need the 911 to we will need 911 to be involved. And so far, after requesting they contact me or City Manager Raines to discuss for several months now, 911 has not reached out. We will need their cooperation to be able to connect to their system, even if we do get the equipment installed and operational at the high school. My ask to the city and the school district is that we continue to move forward on the work we can do at the high school. And at some point, I hope Executive Director Fletcher at 911 will collaborate with us and allow us to make the connection into 911 system. Thank you.
I'm excited for the upcoming Adventure Fest. I've seen all the advertising. It's done phenomenal for that piece of it. I hope everybody in the community is excited about it and we get the great turnout that we will. Also probably understanding that this is just the start and that we have some, expectations that this is a starting point for growth in this and that hopefully we'll continue to support this as an event for the city of Scappoose. On that also, I would like to, thank staff for all their hard work as well. They've done a phenomenal job of maintaining and pushing the city forward. So I appreciate every single one of them. And a side note, I have made the decision not to rerun for city council. I have a lot on my plate, and so I've made that decision to kind of step out of one role. Unfortunately, it was a hard decision because I really love this city, and I will continue to support them in any way possible shape, and I'll continue through the rest of the year. So, thank you.
Chief Lugal, thank you for your presence at Movies in the Park. I heard from lots of community members how great it was to see you and your team out there. And in general, just a thank you to JJ and Jeff. I know they worked really hard and their whole group to make those a reality. I also wanted to thank you. Back to school night was last week for our elementary schools, and I had the pleasure of passing out Otter Pops to some very hot families, but was also able to give a couple to our recruits or their,
Yes.
Yeah, they attended. And it was great, great to have them there. I thanked them and they popped around. So I appreciate you very much for making that a priority. And I know, having talked with several administrators, that you've made personal connections trying to make our building safe and helping them with questions they have for different procedures. So I appreciate that. I wanted to congratulate Alex on completing a very intense, I want to call it training, but course to help her in her managerial skills. It was a very, gosh, I'm trying to find the word. I don't know. I just think you getting into that program and participating in it speaks volumes to your dedication of your profession. So thank you. And I know that it's a goal for us to support you doing that. So appreciate it and are proud of you. A lot of people are talking about Adventure Fest. Friday is a late night movie, and then all day Saturday with late night concert. But also on Friday night is our first home football game on the turf field, and dedication and retiring of Derek Anderson's number 14. So if you can try and tackle both on Friday night, I don't know, maybe you'll see me at both. I don't know.
The court ready? I saw it the other day.
The
and
field,
it
the
didn't look.
Yep, this is it. Well, it'll be ready by Friday. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to meet a new PCC staff member, David Poole, over at he is the success coach at the PCC OMIC training facility. One thing that I had the opportunity to speak to him on was about potential funding opportunities for students of all ages that live here in Columbia County so that they can start taking courses at our current OMIC facility. One of the highlights that he did indicate is that there are current programs for anyone that can identify that they are a participant of SNAP. They can get fully funded for any credited classes, trainings, or associate degrees that they can seek. And so I just think that it's a extreme asset for our community to have, one, the first higher education building in all of Columbia County. When I was in high school, we were taking courses in the cafeterias at our high school from PCC. So to know that we have a facility that will build a workforce that will help our economy and that it's in our own backyard, I would urge each and every one of you, if you know somebody who is looking to get into the advanced mechanic and mechanic trades, manufacturing trades, to please, reach out to me and I will put them in contact with PCC, or just in pointing them over to the PCC program so that we can ensure that folks have access to this great resource. In addition, yeah, run with Neil, 10 a.m., 9 a.m., 8 a.m. Oh, I got 3 kids in the race. I'm super excited.
You're running at 10, I don't know.
Well, for me, yeah, I'm walking behind. And then, yes, excited to be at Adventure Fest. Kudos to Isaac and our contracted team on preparing for this event. I'm really excited for the turnout. Really hope that the community is excited by this as much as I am. Lastly, I just want to really reiterate the value of our community members who stand up to the call to volunteer within our community or within our city committees, in addition to council members and the mayor, for your commitment and volunteering. With that, I would just urge again, for those that are participants, that we treat each other with kindness, dignity, and respect. As facilitators or co-chairs within these committees, I think that it is a responsibility that each and every one of us should hold in bringing a professional and mindful attitude in working to find solutions. So with that, I thank you for your time and I yield. Councilor McHugh.
Just a couple things. First of all, the parks look great, Dave, and I've been around most of them the last couple weeks, and CZ Trail looks really good. I know that's a lot of work, but it's noticeable, and people that use the park see that they're well cared for. But you and your staff, really all of our staff in the city, appreciate all that everybody does. But it so happens yours is very noticeable. Also, thanks to Chief Legao and all they're doing, I get great feeling what's happening with the police department and things that are going on, and still positive feeling, and appreciate all you're doing and all your staff is doing. And I'd also like to thank Tyler for all he's doing with this radio communication. It's kind of a complicated issue. I'm getting a little bit of a grip on it, because I've attended some of the meetings, and but it's really, really important, and that we get a handle on this and can do the best we can to protect our community and our students, and do that as quickly as possible. Not a quick fix, though, I can tell you that. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye, but I just appreciate all that Tyler's doing to work with that. And Scappoose Historical Society, they're red hot and rolling. I really appreciate all they're doing. They have a lot of real energetic volunteers. They're mostly old like me. I was like the youngest person there at the workday.
Did I see you trim? Were you trimming hedge?
Yeah.
I thought I saw you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And anyway, they've got the Watts House will be open on Saturday from 12 to 4 for the Adventure Fest. Also, they're recognizing we had most prominent rose garden in all of the state and one of the most prominent in the whole United States in Peterson Enduring Roses from 1926 to 1965 or something like that. The Rose Garden in Portland is full of Peterson Enduring Roses, and he's internationally known. He was a school board member here in Scappoose, and his 5 children attended Scappoose schools. Some of those children are going to be at a dedication ceremony on Saturday, the 24th at 12 o'clock. And they're donating some roses that are some of the original Peterson Enduring Roses for our own rose garden here. And there's going to be a brief ceremony and some refreshments. So I think it'll be a real nice event for probably one time very, very prominent family, but it's now kind of part of our history. But the kids have great feelings about Scappoose. So they don't all live here now, but they really have good feelings. And I think that's something else here, but that's it. Okay, anyway, thanks. I appreciate what everybody does in the city and all you do.
Everything has been said.
All the good
I-
stuff has-
Echo.
that's what you get over there.
I echo what everybody said. So I'll see you guys at 8 o'clock. I'll be running with my family, well, walking with my family. And I'll also see you at the booth, at the 50-year booth at 2 o'clock. I'll be there. And also, we get emails from the LLC, League of Oregon Cities, and I appreciate those once I have time to review them. And in one of the newsletters, there's a DEI on-demand library. So I encourage all of us to take advantage of that. You do have to have access to the League LLC, but figure out, I'll ask you, Alex, how can I get access to that? But other than that, see you guys on the Saturday.
Oh, my turn. I will have my own booth at Adventure Fest, as I am running to sell you Medicare, health insurance, and dental insurance.
I thought it was gonna be Dunk the Mayor.
I know, right?
So, as everyone knows, this is the first meeting since my hair changed. And I just, it was a fun event by the food bank. It was a fundraiser by the mayor of Scappoose, mayor of Rainier, and mayor of St. Helens. This third year they'd done it, this first year with the mayors. And the one that raised the least money had pig slop dumped over their head
Oh, gosh.
in the pig pen at
Who's that?
Alex Tardif's farm.
Who's that? At the least.
Mayor Cole got the least, Mayor Scholl took second, and I took first. At the beginning of the competition, much like I had made the commitment during the lockdowns when I did the online fundraising, raised a little over $4,000 in a month for the food bank, but I said that if I raised 5,000, I would let Megan give me a mohawk back then.
Not
Yes.
me.
No, Megan Fawcett with the food bank. And so I reiterated that if I raised the most money of the 3 mayors, that I would get a mohawk. And so it ended up, I have it cut back. I see my hair person on next Tuesday. But, or no, a week from my birthday, which is the 22nd. So that's 2 weeks. It's a ways away. I'd like to thank Christine for putting me over the top into the victory to get my hair done personally. It was the phone calls between drives. Okay, I gotta go. I got another ride. But Mayor Scholl really initiated it, and I joined in that all 3 of us were going to stand as mayors together and take the slopping as one. So all 3 of us got the slop dumped. It's on video at the food bank, but we all 3 took the slop on us, but it was for a good cause. I think we raised over $3,500. And the really good news is the $1,929 that I did raise goes to the food pantries in Scappoose. So the money raised here stays in Scappoose, which is really nice about the fundraiser and really good for the food banks. Really, other than that, the last couple of weeks, I've been just trying to play catch up from my missing work from having COVID, which I would recommend not getting because it just sucks. I think your wife had it right about the same time. I swear we weren't hanging out.
Well, it's-
You know, everything that's happening, I'm always thinking about being very nostalgic nowadays too, about my time with the city since it's now coming to an end, and there's a lot of pride. And I remember what was the final thing that made me run for city council? I had an interest in public policy way back then. There was a headline in the Spotlight of a council member on the council screaming at another council member, calling him a fat pig. And that was the headline. You're a fat pig. And it was in 98, the summer of 98. That's kind of what made me decide to run, because I'd been brought up in politics that we can disagree on an issue, but it doesn't mean I hate you. It's just an issue. You know, I mean, because you hate me. I'm kidding. We've been friends for forever. But it's, to me, it's always been that if you treat people with respect, you can disagree, you could have a heated argument, walk away frustrated, but know at the back of your mind that that's just a policy difference. One side at that point is going to win it on a vote. You may be on the losing side, but you move forward. That's kind of what the team agreement is trying to say, is that you're respectful. Once a decision has been made, you move forward. You don't have to agree with the decision. You can bring it up at the next election. But as far as representing the city, that's the city decision the city made, and that's where we're going. It's been a great ride. 4 years. I was 29 when I filed. I think we just got done playing baseball, Joey. I keep wanting to call you Joey too, because that's when you posted that picture from when we played on Reagan's team. I was like going, oh my goodness. We were just youngsters. Yeah, I was little. Yeah. But it's love of the community that keeps you going. But there's a time when you have to say that as you stood on other mayor's shoulders or other council members' shoulders to push forward the city, you know, Rita Bernhardt was a mayor. She became a city councilor. The next generation of leaders are stepping up to take over, and they're going to have great ideas. The city's going to be in good hands, no matter who is elected for mayor or the council positions. My understanding, the council positions are all 3 candidates, 3 votes. So it's pretty easy to win that race. So you should be fine. And, you know, I mean, I'm not going away. I just be sitting here. I don't have the stresses of things. I'll have more free time, you know. Back when I was mayor, this is how we did it. No. But so sorry about my pontificating. I've got another 15 minutes. I'm in politics still. Just what we do. But yeah, Adventure Fest is coming up Saturday. Eric Anderson's number is being retired. That is super cool. I don't know which one. I know I'm going to be at Adventure Fest. I'm going to try to make it to the game. And the new turf field's great. Hopefully, the next group that moves forward starting in January continue to develop the park system, which has been a passion point for me the entire time, as well as the economic, creating local jobs here so that you have local jobs, people working here. Commercial thrives. People that have businesses here thrive because there's people here to shop. Anyone that's worked out of town knows they shop during their lunches. They drive home hour. So those 2 goals should still be our top goals, creating that local economic base, because that also gives us money to hire more police, build more parks, maintain those parks, and do everything. Without that expanded economic base, you don't have that. So they really do work together, and I'm really proud of everyone here on the council, everyone I've worked with over the last 24 years, and the staff that we've had. I mean, we've had, I think, a team that has been the envy of a lot of cities over the last 7, 8 years from the top down. And there's a reason why we're having to sometimes see them trying to be taken away by other cities is because they're great people and they do great work. And if you'd have told me that we would have had public works staff that does so much more than they used to do before Dave, I would have been shocked. And I mean, Dave's not only had the ideas, but he's trained them to do those jobs so that our staff can be more efficient, effective. That's really what we need is efficient, effective government. And I think we've had it. So there's only, well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more meetings that you have to hear me pontificate. But thank you. Oh, perfect. Oh, you know, I mean, anyways, meeting adjourned.